Welcome to your sixth lesson, which is on question tags. Now this is a chapter in grammar that you're going to learn for the first time. So pay a little attention to the explanation of this chapter. What is a question tag? Question tags are short questions added to the end of a sentence in order to know whether others agree or disagree with you. They are a very short clause at the end of a statement which changes the statement into a question. So question tags are basically short expressions that you add at the end of a statement to change it into a question. The question tag has only two words. Now there are certain rules that you must follow in order to frame a question tag. Look at the first rule. It consists of two parts. So, a sentence having a question tag has two parts. The first part is your statement and the second part is your question tag. Statement. Saina Nehwal is great. If you look at the example, and you will see that if you put a full stop after great, then the statement makes sense in its own. Saina Nehwal is great. Makes complete sense in its own. Now if we add a question tag to it, then the statement changes to a question. Okay, and as I told you before, a question tag consists of two words. So Saina Nehwal is great, isn't she? This is your question tag. Before beginning a question tag, we use a comma, and after it we put a question mark. Your second point, the tense does not change. If we go back to the same example, Saina Nehwal is great. In this statement, is, the verb is, shows us that the statement is in present tense. So we have to make sure that the question tag is also in present tense. We cannot change the tense of the question tag. So Saina Nehwal is great, isn't she? The tense remains the same. Third rule, the pronoun of the question tag must agree with the subject. Now question tag, if you observe the two words that are there, the first word is your verb and the second one is a pronoun, right? Pronouns are words which are used in place of nouns, pronouns. So let's go to the first example again. Saina Nehwal is great. Right? Saina Nehwal is a female character and therefore we use a female pronoun. Isn't she? We do not say Saina Nehwal is great. Isn't Saina Nehwal? That is incorrect. So we have to use a pronoun which goes with the noun in the statement. Now let us have a look at the example given in your third point. Lata will sing, won't she? Lata is female and therefore we use she. We do not write Lata will sing, won't Lata? Okay, won't is the short form of will not, contraction of will not. So Lata will sing, won't she? The fourth rule, if the statement is positive, the tag will be negative, and if the statement is negative, the tag will be positive. Lata will sing, won't she? Lata will sing is a positive statement. Positive means it does not have the words no, not, never, right? So these negative words are not present in this statement and therefore this is a positive statement. Now because the statement is positive, the question tag must be negative. So we change will to won't, which is the short form of will not. So a positive statement has a negative question tag, a negative statement has a positive question tag. Now comes the very important part of this lesson. How do you frame a question tag? If there are two verbs in a statement, for example, you can go to the market, right? This is a statement. If you put a full stop after market, then it makes complete sense on its own. Now, if we are to turn the statement into a question using question tag, what do we do? You can go to the market. Now, this particular statement is positive because we do not have any negative words like no, not, never in this statement. So this is a positive statement. And can and go, these are your two verbs, right? Now when we are to change a positive statement to a question using a question tag, we have to use a negative question tag. So we take the first verb, the auxiliary verb, which is can, the helping verb can, and we change it to its negative form. So the answer becomes you can go to the market, comma, can't you? Okay, can't you? This particular question tag is negative. So can changes to can't and you remains you. Your second example. You are coming to the party. Again, this particular sentence is positive, right? We do not have any negative words in this statement. And what are the two verbs? Are, coming. You are. You are is the short form of you are. So are is your first verb, coming is your second verb. And we have already seen that we have to change the auxiliary verb, the helping verb, are, into its negative form. So the question tag becomes, comma, aren't you, right? Aren't you? This question tag is negative. So are changes to aren't and you remains you because it's already a pronoun. We do not need to change it. So what do we see? An auxiliary verb which changes to its negative form and the main verb does not change. So can changes to can't and are, which is an auxiliary verb, changes to aren't and coming remains the same. Let us have a look at some other examples. We shouldn't make noise. Now what do we see in this statement? That this particular one is negative. Negative because we have the negative word not in this statement. We shouldn't. Shouldn't is the short form of should not, right? So this statement is a negative one and the two verbs are shouldn't and make. Okay, so these are your two verbs in the sentence. Now, according to the rules, you know that when the statement is negative, you have to add a positive question tag. So, shouldn't, being the auxiliary verb, should be changed to its positive form. Therefore, we put a comma first and then the question tag. Shouldn't changes to should and we remains we because it's a pronoun. So, should we? And this question tag is positive. We shouldn't make noise. Should we ends with a question mark. Next one. Tom wasn't watching TV. Tom wasn't watching TV. Again, this particular statement is negative because we have the word wasn't, right? Wasn't is the short form of was not. So we have not in the statement and therefore it's a negative statement. And what are the two verbs? Wasn't, watching. Okay. So we know that we have to change the auxiliary verb, the first verb, right? The helping verb. So, comma, and then the positive form of this particular auxiliary verb. Wasn't is the negative form. The positive form will be was. So, was he. Right? And this particular question tag is positive. Again, this is something that you must remember according to the rules. If the noun has in the statement, if there is a noun in the statement, then in the question tag there should be a suitable pronoun that goes with the noun. In this example, we have Tom. It's a male noun and therefore we use a male pronoun, he. Right? Tom wasn't watching TV. Was he? We do not write Tom wasn't watching TV. Was Tom? That is incorrect. So he is the suitable pronoun that goes with the noun Tom. Again, shouldn't is your auxiliary verb which changes to should and make is your main verb which has no role to play in the question tag. Similarly, wasn't is your auxiliary verb which changes to was, and watching is the main verb which has again no role to play. Now let us have a look at the exceptions. The first point, with I am, the question tag takes aren't I. If in the statement you come across am, the verb am, then in the question tag we use aren't. I am right, aren't I? We do not write I am right, amn't I? Because amn't, am not is not a word in English, right? So we use I am right, aren't I? So when you have am in the statement, we use aren't in the question tag. Point number 2. A singular indefinite pronoun of common gender takes they. Singular indefinite pronoun. Everyone helped her, didn't they? Here everyone is your indefinite pronoun of common gender. Everyone, everybody, right? These refer to a group of people of common gender, right? So when you have these singular indefinite pronouns like everyone, everybody, then in the question tag we use the pronoun they. We do not write everyone helped her. Didn't everyone? That is wrong. Everyone helped her, didn't they? So they is the pronoun we use for everyone, everybody, etc. Point number 3. There is used in the question tag when the statement begins with there. Okay. So if in the statement it begins with there, the word there, then in the question tag we end it with there. There is some food left. This particular statement starts with there and therefore the question tag will end with there. Okay. So am changes to aren't. Everyone changes to they. And there remains there. Now if there is one verb in a statement, what do we do? You are my best friend. You are my best friend. This statement is positive and are, you are is the short form of you are. So are is your only verb in the statement and we have to change this one into a negative question tag, right? Because the statement is positive, so the tag needs to be negative. And what is the negative form of are not or aren't. So we put a comma first and then the question tag. So you are my best friend, aren't you? Aren't you is your negative question tag with the positive statement. Next, the students arrived before us, right? The students arrived before us. This again is a positive statement because we do not see any negative words here. Positive statement and arrived is your only verb in the statement. And what do we do when we have to change arrived into its negative form? We cannot write arrivant because that is again not a correct word in English. So in this case, we have to identify the tense of this verb first. Arrived is in which tense? In past tense. So we have to write the question tag in past tense itself because we cannot change the tense of the sentence. So we put a comma first and then the past tense negative form of this word, which is didn't. So the students arrived before us, didn't they? Which is a negative question tag. Now look at this carefully. The students is plural and therefore we have to use a plural pronoun which is they. We cannot write the students arrived before us. Didn't the students? That is incorrect. Okay. So we use a proper pronoun which goes with the noun and a proper verb which goes with the verb in the statement. Now let us have a look at a few examples. The first one, they didn't buy the tickets, did they? Didn't changes to did in the question tag. and they remains they in the question tag because it's already a pronoun. We don't need to change it. There wasn't a beggar at the door, was there? There wasn't a beggar at the door. This statement is negative, so we have a positive question tag. So wasn't changes to was, and there remains there, because according to the rule, when a statement begins with there, it ends with there. I am guilty, aren't I? Again, a reminder of the rule that we had learned. When a statement has am, then in the question tag, it changes to aren't. So I am guilty, aren't I? Next, people did not like the new rule, did they? People did not like the new rule, did they? Did not changes to did, and people, because it's plural, has a suitable pronoun in the question tag, which is they. So, did not changes to did, and people changes to they in the question tag. Shakespeare wrote many plays, didn't he? Shakespeare is your noun, which has an appropriate pronoun in the question tag, which is he. So Shakespeare changes to he, and wrote is the past form of write. So wrote is in past tense, and therefore we have to use a verb in past tense in the question tag. So we use didn't, which is the short form of did not. Shakespeare wrote many plays, didn't he? Now these are the kind of questions that you will get in your examinations, where you will be given a statement and you will be asked to add suitable question tags along with it, right? So if you get a question, she speaks Spanish well, you will be asked to add a question tag to this statement to change it into a question. Okay, so what do? We first identify the verb. Speaks is your verb. Which tense is it in? In present tense. So we have to frame the question tag in present tense itself, and we have to ensure that the verb agrees with the pronoun, right? She speaks Spanish well. The answer will be she speaks Spanish well, doesn't she? Doesn't is your verb in present tense and in negative form, because the statement is positive, so the tag has to be negative, and doesn't agrees with the pronoun she. We cannot write she speaks Spanish well, don't she? Don't. Do, the verb do, it does not go with the singular pronoun she, right? With singular pronouns like she, he, it, with singular pronouns we use doesn't. With plural ones we use do. They do not. She does not. It does not. The students do not. Okay. Second question, we must be obedient. Again, we have the verb must and in positive form. So the answer will be we must be obedient, mustn't we? We just change the positive verb into a negative one into the question tag, and we remains we because it's already a pronoun. The third question, they will enjoy the concert. Here we have two verbs, will and enjoy, and the statement is positive. So we have to use a negative question tag. The answer will be, they will enjoy the concert, won't they? Won't is the short form of will not, right? So we use a negative question tag for this positive statement. Next question, the dish wasn't delicious. The dish wasn't delicious. This statement is negative, so we have to use a positive question tag. The answer will be the dish wasn't delicious. Was it? Again, we do not write the dish wasn't delicious. Was the dish? That's incorrect. So it is the suitable pronoun which goes with the dish. The dish wasn't delicious. Was it? Now question tags are a very common part of your do as directed section in the language papers. And if you get the rules correct, then it's very scoring. It's very easy to score marks. Now you have to keep in mind the rules that we had discussed in this particular presentation. And this will be followed by a PDF file. In that file, you will get a list of contractions. Contractions means short forms. Like won't is the short form of will not. Okay, similarly, there are many other short forms, so you will get a list of that, and after that you will get an exercise that you have to solve on your own. Okay, so based on this lesson and the list of contractions, try to solve the exercises on your own and then look at the answers to see what your score is. All the best.